Hello, everyone. I am Gu. I am applying for lecture position at CQU, Sydney campus. My topic today is assignment design for application development, specialized for bachelor degree and year 2. Based on the requirements, I've got 4 topics today. Topic 1, incorporating industry practice tools and techniques. Topic 2, evaluating individual and group contribution. Topic 3, academic integrity. Topic 4, ensuring consistent, high quality marking and feedback. In my topic 1, it's about incorporating industry practice tools and techniques. IT is a fast developing industry. In the last 30 years, it's totally transformed. Every 2-3 years, new technology, new version, and transform the whole world. Especially that gives us the challenge for our higher education, how to incorporate the industry tools for our teaching. There's always a gap between the bachelor studies and the industry requirements. A lot of students can't even find internship after they finish their bachelor degree. So building the bridge between the bachelor study and the industry, that's our mission. I've got 12 years industry experience in software development. I understand when I start doing my work, there's so much pressure I have, so much learning that I had to do to get my job done. It was tremendous amount. So I felt, the knowledge that I gained from university was so little. It's not so theoretical, it's not even enough for my work. And that's when I'm doing my teaching, when I'm doing my course design, I always had this one in my mind, how to build the bridge between higher education and industry work. So from the software development perspective, I've been thinking mostly about software architecture. At the higher education, especially for programming, fundamental programming, all the students required to do is one-page program. Basic data types, if-else conditions, looping, and try exception handling, plus object-oriented programming. Everything on one program, everything's on one page. But when I go to work, I see service-oriented architecture. One big software is composed by quite a few components, from Windows application to Windows service, web services, to web development, web-based application, to message queue, to Windows application, to Windows service application. There are so many different applications that needed to run to support one business requirements. And for every single development, every single application, there might be legacy systems. There might be new modern languages. So we require the students to understand different types of programming languages to build the service-oriented architecture. And with the development of AI, it's so easy for the students to generate the source code, like hundreds of lines of source code for their assignment in 5 minutes. But if we help assist the students to build service-oriented architecture, even if they use general AI for code generation, it will be so easy for them to generate the code, but still challenged to understand the complicated software, to build the service-oriented software. And the second subtopic I want to talk about in topic 1 is a version control. At industry, they use version control is used. GitHub is a very good version control cloud-based resources for students to use. With version control, we can monitor when they did it, when they committed work, who committed work, how much they committed, what changes they committed. And for version control, the student understand when to pull the latest changes, when to commit their changes, how to convert the version, how to generate the branches. So this is industry standard, and at university, we don't really teach version control. So there's a big gap between the students and the higher the industry. Of course, there's some geeky students that manage to learn GitHub by themselves, but most of the students need to be taught. If we can integrate version control into our curriculum, that will be a very good advantage for our students to get updated with the industry standard. The third item I want to talk about in topic 1, industry standard, is automated testing. At university, the students use test plane, word-based test plane, testing category, testing items, testing details, expected output, and actual output. Everything's on a table, everything's on Word document. But at work, we do software developers use unit tests for the automated testing, including testers. They use unit tests, PyTest in Python language. They use XUnit for C#. They use JUnit for Java. They also use cloud-based GitHub for unit testing. The fourth item I want to talk about in industry standard is cloud-based computation power. GitHub for repository management, Heroku for web hosting, and Python and Google Colab for free GPT, CPT, and computation. So utilize the cloud computing for our students, and it will be a step forward from doing software development from their local machine. Topic 2 today is evaluating individual and group contribution. So find the diamond among our group assignments. Find the true distinction and high distinction students from the whole bunch of cohort is my mission. I'm a teacher. I want to find out who can really pass this course or who deserves a distinction or high distinction. For the group assignment, it's very hard to measure who's done the software development and who's done what. So we can adopt number 1, GitHub repository. Easily, we can find the contributor list. Easily, we can find a commit history, so we know who committed what changes to the repository, who's done a major contribution. And we can also adopt presentation for the group assignment to not only demonstrate the developed software, they also need to demonstrate what platform they used for the software development. And they also need to develop their development process for the software development. Through this, we understand who has done the software development and in terms of contribution. And addition to presentation, we can require them to provide a project report. The project should be designed based on the progress, because it would be so easy for ChatGPT to generate one program with 100 lines of code to achieve one mission. But with progress-based project, it will be harder for the students to use generative AI for their assignments. And not only the progress-based project, we also ask them to generate project-based report and progress-based report. That's why they are forced to learn. They're forced to generate their assignment step by step. For the group assignment, we should ask for a peer review form, contribution form. We should ask for individual reflection. And at work, we always do everything in a team. We understand if for the software developer, they always contribute a lot. They get promoted to senior software developer position. They get promoted to technical manager position. They get bonus. They get opportunities. But for the cruisers in a big team, they don't get always promotions. They don't get bonuses unless they show their contribution. So for our students, I highly recommend different marks for everyone in a team, because that will encourage students to contribute in the group assignment. Third topic is academic integrity. There are a few problems. Uneven contribution, copy from different sources, and ghost assignment. Especially in a group assignment, uneven contribution is very common. Their friends, one try to cover another. Some students cruise along the subject or the unit. They have got not much clue. They're not interested, especially for programming subjects. And some students copy from different sources. Okay, if they copy from different sources, they're learning. That's not too bad. The worst thing is ghost assignment. So when students submit ghost assignment, that means someone else did the assignment for them. They know nothing about the assignment. How do we identify those students? I think presentation, interview, it will be a good way to identify those students, to keep our academic integrity up to a high standard. My topic for today is ensuring consistent, high quality marking and feedback. While we design the assignment, we need to design the detailed marking guide as much as we can. And every single assignment need to mark against the marking guide. And feedback need to be provided for every single quarter mark deducted. We need to provide clear and accurate feedback. After the assignment is submitted, the lecturer or the tutor need to mark 3 to 5 assignments for moderation. Moderation process is required. So there's one unit coordinator who design an assignment, will measure everybody's marking, if the marking is up to a standard. If there's feedback, it will be provided to the marker or the tutor. So everybody keep the same standard. It's very important to have distinctions and high distinctions. That's a way to motivate our students. And it's also important to find out, who failed the assignment, to keep our teaching standard. Turnitin procedure is required for report. However, it's very, very challenging to keep to test on the programming. From my personal experience and knowledge, my narrow knowledge, and I think tenure procedure is very important for report, such as your understanding about the program, the challenges you faced in the program for the software development, and your testing plan, and the workflow chart. However, it's not practical for source code, especially if we set up the detailed requirements for the software development. So that's my 4 topics today. That's my answering the questions, the CQU lecture position interview questions for today. And I had a great time for my job interview today with Sherman, with Stephen, with Yuyan. I appreciate your time, and I appreciate the second opportunity to submit my video presentation. Thank you.